Hi guys, Sam from 3D here. Today we're diving into creating an awesome room animation. We'll be working with the room from the Rooms pack, available on the 3D website. Let's get started. But first let me introduce you to 3D.design, your gateway to a world of captivating 3D character models, icons and more. Dive into our extensive library boasting artists, avatars, sleek cars and diverse file formats compatible with tools like After Effects. Start with Creative Journey here for immersive experience. And now let's back to video. Let's change our layout. Drag your mouse to the corner of the window and simply pull it over. We will use it for camera view. Change lower window to timeline. And before start animating, we need to group our objects. Choose 4 objects while holding Shift, then press M to move it to collection. Select New Collection and give it a name. And now we need to do this with the rest of our scene. Select Bed Objects, press M, New Collection Bed. Select Lamp, which includes 2 parts, and press Ctrl plus J to combine the object. Now select Table Lamp and Lamp Light and New Collection, Bed Table. Same with Bookshelf, select Books, Cube and Vinyl Player. Press M, New Collection. And we need to unite our vinyl player, select 2 parts and press Ctrl plus J. Now paintings, same here, select Objects, press M, New Collection. And for the last we have Window Frame. Let's find it in our Objects list. You can actually press dot on numpad and it will find selected object. Let's choose these objects. You can do it in Outliner, but in case if Blender won't select actual object, you can always select it with the hard way, like I am doing here. OK, press Ctrl plus J, then M, New Collection. Just frame. And now we have a bunch of useless stuff here. You can just delete objects which are start with string. Great, we have prepared our scene for animation, so let's start animating. I disable all collections except floor for convenience. Let's move to 24 frame, which in our case is 1 second. And that would be our final object state. Insert keyframes on the axis with right click, then choose Insert Single Keyframe. We are going to animate today from final state to start state, basically back to forward. G, Z, lift our objects up and insert keyframes. And we got something like this. Let's work with Fade Effect. For this, open new window in Timeline and choose Shader Editor. So all the magic is happened with Alpha Slider. You put 0, object is transparent. When the value is 0, the object is not visible, and when it is 1, it is visible. Let's animate it. Put 0 at the start, press I, go 24 frames forward. Change value to 1 and again press I. Do it for both objects. OK, now we want to animate display in render option, which is this cam. We do it because otherwise we get bunch of artifacts. The anime would be displayed in viewport, so we see them soon. Just press I, go to frame behind, turn it off and again press I. OK, we made animation for floor. You can change timings how you like simply with G. I move carpet keyframes a little further. It's a matter of taste here, you can change the timings as you like. We got this animation. Yes, I think it's good. Now for the bed, it consists of 3 parts and we will be animating them all, starting with the bed itself. I select carpet to know on which frame should I start. Then I will go 24 frames forward. We're going to move it on Y-axis. Insert keyframe, go back. You can move with sliders too, move it a little and insert keyframe. Yup, that's good. For the pillows we are going to animate scale. Insert keyframes with an I, move back for 24 frames and put 0 to scale. And again press I. We call this animation. For the blanket, we are going to animate x-axis. Insert keyframe, move back, move object, and insert keyframe. Now for fade effect, just animate alpha like in previous case. But be careful, there are two materials in use for one object, meaning we must animate them both. Again, set 0 at the start, press I for both materials. Go to the end, set value to 1 and press I. And here the bug that I told you about earlier. So don't forget to animate this little camera button. Go to start frame, press I to all active objects. Move back to one frame, turn off, press I again. And now if we press render, we won't get this black void. Yep, all good, we can close it. Again, set 0 at the start, press I. Go to the end, set value to 1 and press I. Cool, now change timing again. Yay, now we have little routine work, but don't worry, I show a few new principles later. Let's do this in order: bed, carpet, pillows. Just moving keyframes, no magic here, but it will be at the end, so stay tuned. Simply moving keyframes as you like. Great, now we can start with bed table animation. Go to plus 24 frames since last action was making scene. We are going to move it with x-axis and lamp with z-axis. Set keyframes. And don't forget about lights. Pull back for 24 frames, pull up our lamp and light, and set keyframes. Press G, Z and pull it up, and insert keyframes. Same with table, move it, set keyframe, you got it. And now alpha animation. Be careful, there some materials is used for more than one object, so copy material with this button. Now we can clear keyframes with right click, clear keyframes, and then like before animate alpha to all materials. Also, you can animate the light power to make a fade effect for it, but for me, animating display option will be enough. You can try it for yourself. Remember 0 at the start and 1 at the end. Now we animate display options, press I at the start. Go back for one frame, turn it off, press I again. Now let's move camera and light keyframes further, you can play with it to match your preferences. Just trying until it fit. And we got it. Next, paintings. Again, go 24 frames further and set keyframes on x-axis. Right click, insert single keyframe, you got this. Pull back for 24 frames, move it with G, Z, you can move it any distance you like, set keyframes. And animate alpha. 0 at the start, press I, 1 at the end, press I, make it to all materials. In this case, white material is used only with paintings, so there's no need to copy that material, unless you want to change the timing for each painting. In that case, make the same that we make with bed table first material. And don't forget about little cameras. Well done. Now let's repeat the same process with window frame. You can always change things a little. For example, you can try animating with different axes. Feel free to change things because that's how you're really learning. We're going to animate y-axis. Again, go 24 frames further from last action. Set keyframe. Go back by 24 frames. Move it and then insert keyframe again. And the only one thing you need to know about window frame is fade effects. Here, unlike others materials, mix shader is used. In this case, we need to copy the mix shader with Shift+D. Move forward, plug first mix shader into second, and principal BSDF in other. Also put 0 in alpha here. Now changing the value of mix shader, we switch our materials. Let's repeat the process for other materials. And now animate that. Put 1, press I, go 24 frames forward. Put 0, press I again. And we are done with window. Let's see progress we made so far. And we have one piece left. For bookshelf, we are going to animate Y-axis. Just like before, set up keyframe 24 frames forward. Return, move object and set keyframe again. Now alpha animation. And let's insert keyframe for display in render. Go back, turn off, press I, done. Go at the end of our movement, change alpha, insert keyframe. Okay, let me see where the start is. Now for vinyl player, animate Z-axis. Go 24 frames forward, insert keyframe. Let's also animate our cube. This time we will add rotation to scale effect. Insert keyframes to Z rotation and for the scale. Now go back for 24 frames. Let's pull up our vinyl player. Oops, seems I make mistake. No worries, let's pull this back down. Insert keyframe. Go back and pull this up. Okay, we can return to the cube. Put -360 into Z rotation. With this, we'll make our cube make one full 360 rotation. And set the scale to 0. Don't forget to set the keyframes. Well done. Now alpha animation and display animation for vinyl player, you got this. It has many materials, so be patient. Well done. Okay, final boss, the books. We're going to animate only bottom row and then copy it. Theoretically, you can make an animation for just one book and then copy it. But the more practice you get, the easier it will be for you to memorize. Let's see where we have end of the movement. Pull forward to 24 frames. And this time we are going to animate Z-scale. Insert keyframes for all books. Go back by 24 frames, change Z-scale to 0 and insert keyframes. Make that for all books. Now display animation. Go back by one frame, and as you can see, we don't know what books shall we animate. You can delete the upper row or just select needed books, and it will display in the outliner. Press I for all selected objects, go back by frame, turn off, and press I again. Great job! Don't forget to save our progress. Now we can delete upper row and just copy our books. Select with Shift. Select with Shift, duplicate with Shift+D, and press Z to move it up. Small adjustments for your taste. And we have book animation. Let's change timing of our animation. Select our books and move Start Animation to the end of our book shell animation. Same for vinyl player and cube. Now let's change book timing. For the upper row, we are going to move our frames by 1. First book frames move by 1, second book frames move by 2, third book frames move by 3, and etc. And we have these linear effects. For bottom row, you can simply randomize frames or just leave it like we have. And we are done. Let's see progress we made so far. But that's not it. It's time for a magic. Open Graph Editor and to close menu, to select all firstly in Viewport then in Graph Editor. Change pivot point to individual centers as X and pull. And now you can see it much better. That's all guys, don't forget to check 3D for rooms. Maybe try animate some room on your own. Stay safe, bye.